with that, let's talk a little bit about why we own what you own. We spend a lot of time thinking about the markets, and I want to share with you a little bit about our philosophy. Now, this is going to be very personal, right? It's also very private. So I know we've got about 75 lawyers here. So what I need is a non-disclosure agreement drafted very quickly, willing to pay almost $25 for it. I'm just kidding, but you are all sworn to secrecy. So let's explore this a little bit. Before you begin an investment management program, you need to ask yourself, what risks am I unwilling to take? Well, we have three primary risks that we're unwilling to take. The first is liquidity risk. Quite frankly, if I can't have my money back this afternoon, I don't want to own it, right? So you go back to the financial crisis, there were a lot of investment vehicles where people had their money locked up, they couldn't get it back. Some of that money is still locked up. For us, trying to educate kids and fund retirements, et cetera, that just doesn't seem correct. So we are never going to invest our money in anything that we can't get it out of whenever we want it on demand. The second risk we're unwilling to take, I am unwilling to take transparency risks. We get people through the office all the time who have the new black box that makes you just put in money and out the other side come all your hopes and dreams. And we're never going to invest in any of those systems. If we can't see inside it, we don't want to own it. And although the regulatory authorities are typically a step behind, we still like the heavy hand of the regulators, at least looking over the shoulders of the people we invest money with. And so we want there to be some regulatory pressure. We're not going to invest in corners of the market that don't have regulatory oversight. There are two primary catastrophic investment mistakes that people make that completely annihilate their investment plan. The first is being way too heavily concentrated in any one individual name. I mean, everybody knows the Enron story. I analyzed Enron as a portfolio manager when I was in grad school. We couldn't figure it out, but everybody owned it, so why didn't we own it too? It's that kind of thinking, if you loaded up big in your portfolio, that could end up being catastrophic. Now, I'm smarter. I was a student then. We never would do that again. But obviously, you want to avoid concentration risk in the portfolio, so we're never going to hold positions yeah. What? Yes, this is Bernie Madoff. You know, we have clients in South Florida, and I talked to some of them who knew Bernie, and they basically have said, you know, this is the smoothest talking, most wonderful guy you've ever met in your life. So we're not going to be seduced by an investment charlatan. And because everything we do is liquid, transparent, regulated, we're never going to have to deal with that guy. But that is a huge catastrophic investment risk to be avoided. This is the risk we are willing to take. It's the scary stock market. Yes, I know it's noisy, and I know it gets crazy, and it freaks you all out, and occasionally me as well. But the reality is we kind of know what we're going to get, right? So this is stock market returns going back to 1900, and on average, the stock market goes up 10% a year. It just never really happens that way. So we have years like 2008 where the market goes down 40%, and we have years like 2013 where the market goes up 35%. Over time, it trues up to about 10%. Now, we know we're going to shop the stock market, but what we need is a benchmark. And the reality is, I spend a lot of time benchmarking and game planning and all that stuff, but we're not really shooting at an index. What we're shooting at is trying to deliver the rates of return called for by your financial plans. So for a retired couple, maybe they need 5.5% between now and whoever's younger's 100th birthday, and that'll make all their hopes and dreams come true. That is our benchmark, right? Maybe it's a young executive who's really ambitious, has aggressive retirement goals, wants 10%, 9.8%. That is our benchmark. That's what we're shooting at. Maybe it's a single mom who needs 7.8% to meet the household budget needs, get the kids educated. That is our benchmark. So don't be confused by all of this math. The reality is we know exactly what the benchmark is, and it's what your rate of return requirements are.